Good morning. This is Frank DAmato. Welcome to Living Therapy. Today, I wanted to talk about starting something new. I want to get into flow states. I want to create my life where I have these channels where I have experienced a lot of flow. And I don't want to go into too much detail. What that just means where I become really fully alive in an activity, get really immersed in it. I could lose myself in it and find myself in it at the same time. Experience joy at just practicing what I'm doing, whatever that is. And I have that in a lot of areas in my life. And I want to have that with this YouTube practice. I want it to be an extension of my own personal growth and healing. I want it to be an extension of my experience of being really fully alive. And that's happening right now. I really do feel that sense of flow and interconnection. But because it's so new for me, there's a lot of stuff around this moment of being able to record and talk and express freely. There's a lot of technical stuff. There's a lot of parts that are worried about, am I going to get this to work? Are people going to watch it? Am I going to look, all this other stuff around the experience. But the main one that's been tripping me up, I record a video. I have some glitches with it. I had some sound glitches. I couldn't get the sound to come out of both speakers. And then how do I get, I want to put this content out there, but I've got this technical issue. And then I couldn't figure it out. So I have all this drive, but then I can't figure out the problem to fix. How do I fix it? And I started to get really frustrated. It tends to happen towards the end of the day, working at my therapy practice and having sessions. And in between, I've been working on this YouTube channel. And by the end of the day, if that technical thing would come up and I still can't get it fixed, I would end up leaving really frustrated. And then when the frustration hit, and I started to feel this feeling of, maybe I don't know how to do this, I can't do this. It started to bring up a lot, it opened up into this whole cavern of self-doubt. And all of a sudden, there's these voices that are inside me, this isn't really, this isn't valuable anyway. You don't have that much to offer. It sounds really negative, but I can actually hear as I'm saying it out loud with you, I can actually hear what it's trying to do is console these other parts of me, the parts that are so frustrated. And it's trying to help them. It's kind of a soothing voice. Unfortunately, it's also knocking what I have to offer. But here's the thing. And I'm going to talk about how I kind of walked through that and kind of resolved it fairly quickly. I know that once I notice I'm starting to get frustrated. Number one, frustration is not our natural state. Our natural state is to be calm, curious, compassionate, and open. Doesn't mean that frustration is bad. There's nothing wrong with frustration. It's totally human. But it's not our natural state. And so I already know that once I'm in some state like that there is something inside me that is off in some way. And what I mean by off is there's some false belief. There's something I'm not resting in my higher self in that moment. And so that tells me to bring attention and care to that. The way I do that, I have many ways to do that. But the one I used last night was I was feeling frustrated and I noticed that and I was getting towards bedtime, but I went out and I went into my hot tub. And the important part is it's not the hot tub. The hot tub is helpful. It's a tool. But the important part is the intention. I went in the hot tub with the intention of not getting rid of the frustration, not to make it go away, because I could have done that. I could have said, I'm just going to go in the hot tub and relax and push that frustration away. And that's not bad either. That's a state change. State change are very, very important and helpful. But I'm actually talking about something a little bit different. I was going into the hot tub with the intention to be with the frustration, not to make it go away, but to really listen to it. And when I really listen to it from my higher self, I really start to see that those voices of frustration are usually very, very young. They're usually very young parts of me who have something unresolved inside. And I already kind of know that. I have a sense of that. But I go into it with a complete beginner mind, just coming to what is happening inside myself. And I want to make this time. And it's 10 or 15 minutes. And the hot tub really helps to kind of bring me awareness to my senses because it's so hot. So you have to kind of pay attention to what's happening in your body. With that intention to listen. And nothing really super magical is happening. I'm just sitting with some curiosity, with some compassion, with some care towards this feeling of frustration. And the more I do that, the more I do get the sense that it's this younger part of me who doesn't feel like he knows how to do things, and he doesn't feel like he's ever going to find the solution. And what's coming up in this moment is the awareness of that I was alone a lot when I was a little kid. My dad really, I love my dad. He wasn't really around a lot when I was a kid, so he didn't give me a lot of guidance on stuff. If I was trying to do something and got stuck, I didn't get that hands-on. And my mom tried, but I think I learned a lot as a younger person to just do things on my own. That one of the downsides of that is when you're alone and you get stuck, you're just kind of stuck, especially at a young age. And so I think there's a lot of internal frustration that's still down there from, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's a lot of frustration at, I want to do something, but I don't quite have the help, and I want to do it on my own because I've learned that I need to do it on my own because I can't trust the adults around me in some ways. So when the moment comes of, I can't get the sound to work, all that frustration from my 12-year-old self or 10-year-old self is coming up. Now, when I was sitting in that hot tub, I wasn't getting into all of that, but I was just opening my heart and energy to what's there. And just that simple action helped me to soften. And I really actually had the feeling in this moment, I'm having a little bit more cognitive insight about what that's from because of the time I spent last night. And now this reflection is actually putting it in a little bit more cognitive terms. But those cognitive terms aren't really that important. For me, they're not that important for me. It's more of being with the feelings that really unlocks it. But here's the kind of like crux of that I kind of wanted to get down to, which is, if I stay in the delusion that the source of my frustration is my audio card, is outside of me, right? That part of me that is focused on the problem, and the problem is the audio card, well, then I am really stuck until I fix that audio card. And sometimes there's no fixing the audio card. Or sometimes the find for that fix takes so long, and I just get wrapped up in trying to solve a problem. But the problem is not really the audio card. The problem is the emotional state that I'm experiencing because the audio situation isn't working. And that emotional experience that I'm experiencing almost always comes back to something unresolved inside me. And the great part about that is that I can do something about that. I can't guarantee that I can fix the audio problem, but I can guarantee that if I sit with my emotions and I really open my heart and mind to them, I guarantee that will get better. I don't know how long it will take, but it will get better if I sit with it. And then when it does, when I do sit with it and I do feel all of a sudden, I come back to my natural state of being open and curious, and all of a sudden, the mind starts to open up. And I get to, let me try this, or let me, and there's more creative thinking happening because I'm not entrenched in frustration and fear. My mind begins to open up. All of a sudden, this morning, finally got to the place of, I figured out what the issue was. Oh, and by the way, the issue was something simple. I'm running a USB audio interface into my laptop, and when I unplugged and replugged the USB, I put in a different USB port. And then the laptop would no longer recognize the microphone input. I kept trying to record, and the volume was so low, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I was like, maybe it's the USB port. That doesn't seem like, but let me just try that. And there it was, the solution. And then I was able to record this incredible, wonderful video that's all about me. I like to joke a little bit. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share. This has been great. I really enjoyed my time with you today. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.